Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good afternoon to uh, viewers. Okay, today I would like to share another topic, which is a seventh topic in our marketing management course. So right now I'm sharing with my display. So hopefully it can help how we go through one by one for this afternoon. So welcome to our session for today, which is work from home, which Malaysia imposed conditional movement control order until December 6, 2020. So hopefully stay safe for everyone and make sure you take care of yourself, especially your distancing, social distancing, and also wear mask whenever you go to public, and don't loitering around and get yourself with the crowd, okay, in order to prevent yourself being affected with COVID-19. Okay, so it's very dangerous right now. A few places already reported some super spreaders, which is very dangerous compared to the previous one. All right. Okay, so hopefully this session can help a bit for this afternoon. Okay, let's go. This is topic regarding on analyzing business market. Okay, so we already talking about analyzing consumer markets. Okay, we have two different markets, which is we need to consider if we open our business. Okay, first, consumer market, which is for those who bought any product that we offer for household consumption. Okay, personal use. Okay, not something that use again and selling back to the market. Okay, so uh, in this market, okay, it's very special. It's very we call it as a complex market, where this group of market, they bought a product for purpose of reselling. Okay, for the purpose of reselling mean, okay, they bought a product and to make sure, okay, their own market fulfilled in terms of their needs. Okay, so all right. Okay, let's go through this outline. Okay, so we're talking about business market. Yeah, what are we looking for is how this market differ compared to the consumer market. Okay, so what are the situation that this business market face compared to the consumer market? It's much more different. Okay, it's very different since they used to practice, which is transforming, trading, and make it all the products that they bought from the supplier for the purpose of transforming the product into another product, or to we call it as a break the bulk, okay, or to become the one as a mean to run the organization. Okay, so it's much more different compared to us as a consumer, basic consumer, that we bought a product for the purpose of our own use. We dispose it by ourselves. So different. Who participate in business to business buying process? Okay, as a consumer market, the individual act themselves as a person that make a decision, buying a product, considering the alternative, evaluating the options. Okay, the only one, the person that involved, only the individual. Okay, compared to the business is much different, because the decision making unit, or we call it as a DMU. Okay, DMU comprise of certain people that have specific technical expertise. Okay, so this one require very lengthy process and very complex, right? So how do business buyer make their decision? This is what we need to know. If we want to establish a business, how do we perform the process? Okay, we need to know one by one. All right, how can companies build strong relationship? Okay, let I move it a bit. Okay, with a business customer, and how do institutional buyer or government agencies do their buying? Okay, we will go one by one process, and inshallah, okay, I'll try to finish it in an hour for you not to overload with so many information. Okay, right. Okay, business market. The business organization do not only sell, but also they buy vast in term quantity. Okay, so the quantity they bought from the market different from to consumer. Okay, so the raw material, the manufactured components, the plant and equipment, the suppliers, and the business services. It can be anything that we use to make sure we can supply something back to the market. Okay, either you want to have your machinery by rental. Okay, you want to bought for yours for as an asset. Okay, if you want to buy raw material to transform, for example, you want to buy flour and also transform become a bread. So everything I consider as product under business market. Okay, so many of basic marketing also applies to business marketer. They need to embrace holistic marketing principles, such as build a strong relationship with their customers, just like any marketer. Okay, the bond. Okay, I mean here the bond between consumer market, manufacturer consumer, we call it as a B2C, and B2B. Okay, B2C is much more easier since the relationship quite short. Okay, in term period of time. Okay, the certain period might be short, but for business to business, okay, since they bought in large quantity, okay, we need to consider very strong relationship with the buyer. Okay, so but They also face some unique consideration in selling to other businesses. Okay, so some consideration we will discuss bit by bit, because I'm also the one who involved in business. I'm not just talking about the marketing aspect or lecturing about this part only, but I'm also practicing it. Okay, by having a business, establish new ventures which is under retailing or retail business, which mean I'm also bought a product for the purpose of selling back to the market, which is end market. Okay, I'm the retailer. So how does manufacturer taking care our relationship is very important. The way how they communicate, the negotiation between me and them, okay, will give advantage how the relationship will be. Okay, all right. Okay, this is an example of Webster and Win. Okay, the definition of organizational buying as the decision-making process by which formal organization establish the need for purchase product and service and identify, evaluate, and choose among alternative brand and suppliers. Okay, all right. Okay, so some interruption, always interruption. All right. So Webster and Win said, when talking about organizational buying, okay, okay, compared to the consumer buying, okay, it was very different, since the process to make a decision not come from one person, okay, from not from an individual, but a group of people which is formally established. Formally established mean you must create a committee to consider, okay, uh, the specification, the routine, the selection of the supplier, the evaluation of proposals. Okay, it requires technical expertise, person who know the process, person who disburse the payment, whatever, any aspect of the decision making process should be in one committee and formally appointed. Okay, it must formally appointed, not only one head thinking of decision. Okay, all right. Okay, the business market compared to the consumer market. This is some differences you need to know. Okay, the business market consists of the organization that acquire goods and services. Acquire mean get the goods, buy goods or services used in production. Okay, used in production, which means it may be raw material or service. Okay, that are sold, rented, and supplied to others. Okay, easy to understand. This kind of market not use any that they bought from the market for themselves. Okay, easy to pronounce or easy to explain. Anything that you bought for the purpose of resell the product back to the market, you are the one considered as a business buyer. Okay, you are not end consumer. Okay, you want to buy a packet of 10 kilogram of rice. Okay, cook. You bought coconut milk, boxes of coconut milk. You bought black pepper, whatever to cook nasi lemak. Okay, that nasi lemak you want to sell to the market, people around you consider you as a business buyer. Okay, so more or less an item are involved in sales to business buyer than to consumers. Okay, mean here, okay, when you try to sell product to the business buyers, it costs much or greater compared to the process of selling something to the consumer market. Okay, consider the process of producing and selling a simple pair of shoes. Okay, is it easy or difficult? We consider as very difficult. Okay, all right. Okay, so each party in the supply chain also has to buy many other goods and services, right? Because if you an entity, okay, bought a good, you need another goods to combine together as to become a one new whole thing, or you want to buy lots of things to make sure your operation run well. Okay, so the business market continue fewer larger buyers. Okay, mean here the characteristic as a business buyer, okay, there are few in terms of numbers. Okay, you cannot make it the number of consumer market, yes, and buyer and business buyer at the same number. Who will be sell or who will bought the product? So of course the number of business buyer lesser than consumer. All right. So the business marketer normally deal with far fewer numbers of people, but okay, they bought in large quantity. Okay, as an example, okay, take it back as a restaurant owner, you bought you want to buy sugar, you are not buy a kilo. Okay, you are not buy a kilogram of sugar since you run a restaurant business. Okay, you need to buy maybe 50 kilos. Okay, 50 kilos of sugars. But if for consumer market, I mean for household use, okay, maximum quantity that you want to put in your canister or your whatever kind of box, only around 2 kilos. And okay, all right, 2 kilos maximum. And if you have extra, you might keep in the storage, okay, for your future supply, not for the business purpose. Okay, all right. Close supplier customer relationship. Okay, because of the smaller customer base and the important and power of the larger customer, supplier are frequently expected to customize their offering to individual business customer needs. Okay, it's very we call it as a very significant action that should be done by the supplier. Okay, you have few numbers. For example, the customer A, customer B, customer C. Okay, you need to customize in terms of the way how you giving credit, facilitate the process, and the way how you recollect the payment. It cannot become a standardized version of process. Yes, the process is there, but the way, the time, and the we call it as a tolerance might be different. Okay, you cannot talk to anyone using one same strategies. Okay, one same strategy. Okay, so professional purchasing, okay, the process of buying the product much more formal compared to the consumer market buying decision process. Okay, it's not same. Okay, we cannot treat same. Okay, and also we cannot treat something, we call it as a common. Okay, it's an uncommon, and you need to have precise or specific, or we call it as a close relationship with your buyer. Okay, all right. Okay, four, multiple buying influences. Okay, more people typically influence business buying decision. Okay, the committees consist of technical experts and even senior management are there. Okay, as for example, in the procurement committee, okay, we have a numbers, starting from CEOs or not, maybe your general manager involved in the process, your procurement department, your production department, your finance department, your marketing department, your sales department, everyone in there. Why? Because we need the we call it as a explanation and opinion regarding on the specification that derive from the needs of problems that rise in that company. So the process much formal, having so many steps. You need to go through one by one. That's why in consumer market it might be take around 2 minutes or 3 minutes process, but for business buyer, frankly speaking, frankly speaking, you may need few months to consider the process successful. Okay, all right. So multiple sales call, because more people are involved in the selling process. It takes multiple sales call to win most business order, and some sales cycle can take years. I'm not joking. I'm just mention months. Right now we have years. Okay, talking, calling, explaining, every time reminding, okay, enhancing the process, giving trials for them. Maybe few years you are successful, close the deal. Right? Okay. 6, derived demand. The demand for business good is ultimately derived from the demand for consumer goods. Okay. What does it mean by this? Okay. Anything that business bought from the supplier derived from the end consumer's demand. Okay, what are demanded by the consumer market, that particular material will be considered to buy as a business quantities bulk. Okay, so the business marketer must closely monitor the buying pattern of ultimate customer. Why? Because if they bought so many or exceed the demand, what happened? There are surplus, okay, in terms of inventory. Okay, so if surplus, okay, that raw material have their own expiry, it has its own period life, shelf life. How to deal with that if the date overdue? It may become as a disaster. Okay, it's a disaster for business having so many inventories over we call it overspend. All the losses to be bear by this, by the organization who bought that raw materials. So we closely monitored every single demand from the consumer markets. Even myself, when selling, we call it a do retail, even though we not attending so many times the machine, the system, but we also monitor the pattern how the consumer respond to our offering. Okay, if one variety of drink bought, uh, we call it as a sold out so easily, that one very demanded. The one not, I mean here, less interested, uh, very slow in terms of selling, we consider as uh, something that not favorable to the market, and we need to consider to take out from the list. Okay. All right. Inelastic demand. The total demand for many business goods and service is inelastic. Okay. Inelastic. Elastic, what does it mean? Okay. Elastic mean anything happen in terms of price, the changes in terms of quantity demanded change dramatically, drastically. Okay. Obviously. Right. But for business, as a business, normally we don't take so much, we call it as a drastic action. Okay. If we bought for flour, for example, 1 ton of flour. Okay. What happened? If demand for bread going down, we are not selling back. We just wait. Okay. This is the where how we deal with the market. If there are some changes in price for raw material, we are not going to buy or still buy. That's why we consider inelastic. 8, the fluctuating demand. Okay, the demand for business goods and service tends to be more volatile than that for consumer goods and services. Okay, because of the fluctuating demand. Okay, it's very significant to know how your consumer market behave. Okay, if you are seller or you call it as a retailer. All right. Okay. 9, geographically concentrated buyers. Okay, because we are positioned or we located in some areas, so we look much on geographical location. Okay, business buyer tend to be concentrated in certain region. The geographical concentration of producer have to reduce selling cost. Direct purchasing. Okay, business buyer often buy directly from manufacturer rather than through intermediaries. Why we need to spend more giving other people's commission? Because we need to also gain a profit. If we bought from intermediaries as a business buyer, bought from another intermediary, it's quite giving much impact. Okay, in terms of profit earn. Okay, you cannot earn much if we bought something from the intermediary. Okay, the situation. Let's go to the situation of buyer itself. All right, the business buyer face many decisions in making a purchase. Okay, from the start, the problem recognition. Okay, after that, we call it as a the specification. Okay, outline the specification, how the solution should be. Okay, what kind of problem that we encounter. Okay, so it's very thorough process. The number of decisions depend on the buying situation, the complexity of problem being solved, newness of the buying requirement, number of people involved, and time required. Okay, 3 types of buying situation. Okay, what are they? Straight rebuy. This situation, okay, straight rebuy mean you already become habitual. Okay, habitual in a way, this contract buying product from the supplier already have before we renew another term. Okay, you remain the contractual terms, you remain in term of the contractual period, you just get another batch of product for the purpose of your business. Or you need to change something. Okay, you need to change the period, the contractual period, or you want to change in terms of the quantity ordered. Okay, we consider as a modified rebuy. Okay, modified rebuy, something that you change in your contractual terms. Another one, okay, another one is new task. New task is a process, is a new buying process or new contract established to buy something that are not familiar within that organization. You are very new, you want to get something to solve your problem, that problem not arise before. This is, for example, right now, you don't have the experience in doing doing a meeting virtually. Right now, you need to buy something for the purpose of have virtual meeting. Okay, all right. Okay, on thought list, I just keep because since you can go on your own. All right, modify rebuy and new task. Okay, all right. Okay, marketing implication of buying situation. Okay, what are the implication from this buying process? The business buyer make the fewest decision in the straight rebuy, okay, and the most in the new task. Okay, I have already mentioned to you, straight rebuy mean you just follow whatever have been contracted for the last period. Okay, however, for new task, you need to go the beginning of the process. You need to go one by one. Okay, new task through several stages: awareness, interest, evaluation, trial, and adoption. Okay, in the new task also, okay, the specification should be determined. You have no idea. Okay, you need to start from scratch. Okay, the price limit, the terms and time, okay, service term, the payment term, order quantities, whatever I mean here, every single part for buying process, you need to go through one by one. Okay, the situation is a marketer's greatest opportunity and challenge, because you have, as a marketer, you need to go influencing, informing, okay, enhancing, and with, of course, persuading. Okay, because of the complicated selling required, many companies use a missionary sales force consisting of their most effective salespeople for new task situation. Okay, if a company requests for explanation for a product, usually we don't come alone. Okay, we come together with a team. Okay, since we try to put everything in the mind of the committee. Okay, not mind of the individual, the committees, the members inside that committees should be persuading one by one according to their expertise. Once a customer is acquired, if suppliers are continually seeking ways to add value to their market offer to facilitate rebuys. Okay, often they do this by providing customized information to customer. Okay, if customer requires for certain customization, we are actually dealing with every single customization that asked by buyer. Okay, participant. Okay, who involved in this? Purchasing agent influential in straight rebuy and modified rebuy situation. Whereas engineering personnel usually have a major influence in selecting product component and purchasing agent dominate in selecting suppliers. Okay. All right. The buying center. Western and Win said another time. Okay. The decision making unit or DMU I already told you of a buying organization, the buying center. It consists of all those individuals and groups who participate in the purchasing decision-making process, who share some common goals and the risks arising from the decision. Everyone responsible. Actually, okay, for consumer market, we are the only person who are responsible for our purchase. But for business buying process, whatever bought for the business must be bear by people who involved in that particular decision. Okay, that's why in terms of the opinion, the expertise involved in that particular process must be call it as a using must have integrity. Okay, must have integrity. All right, the buying center include all members of the organization who play any of 7 roles in the purchase decision process. Okay, what are the 7 roles? Okay, first, in consumer we have 5 roles only. The instigator, influencer, purchaser, we call it as payer, and also the user. Okay, all right. This business we have 7. Why is that? Okay, what are they? The first initiator. Okay, who requests? The department requests, we need new meeting platform. Okay, for example, administrative department request for this. Okay, the user, who the user? All the members inside that organization will be used. For example, okay, for example, buying a solution for virtual meeting. Okay, talking about the paid one, right? So the initiation comes from the human resource department or administrative department. The user, everyone in the, inside that organization. The influencer, people who involve much in meeting. Every single second required meetings. So they people who influence this product or this solution should be bought by company. Recommended. Okay, very much recommended. All right. The decider. Okay, who decide? Okay, people who decide on product requirement. In one company, usually have one department if they have IT department who have the expertise talking about virtual meeting solutions. Okay, the approver. Okay, people who authorize to propose action. Authorized to, yes, we can buy. Okay, usually the CEO, general manager, okay, the committee have already decided, all right, we buy. Okay, and buyers, people who have formal authority to select the supplier and arrange the purchase term. Buyer may have shape product specification, but they play their major role in selecting vendors and negotiating. All right, last one, gatekeeper. Normally people who involved in secretaryship job. Okay, which is these people have that we call it as information. All right. Okay, the buying center roles. Okay, several individual can occupy a given role. Okay, as user or influencer. In business, we always do meeting, or we call it as a collective agreement. Okay, collectively, we call it agree for certain terms, specification, whatever. All right. A purchasing manager often occupies simultaneously the roles of buyer, influencer, and gatekeeper. Okay, the buying center may include people outside the target customer organization, such as government official, consultant, technical advisor, and other members of the marketing chain. Okay, so buying center influencers. Okay, buying center usually include several participants with differing interests, authority status, and persuasiveness. Okay, this member, okay, likely to give priority to very different decision criteria. Okay, as influencer have its own criteria, as a decider also have their own criteria. Because people have their own opinion regarding on the solution that we bought by the company. Okay, but there's a middle, we call it as a meeting point. Why we need this? To justify the decision taken. Okay, all right, can we have 5-minute break? All right, thank you for your for you to stay. All right, so in terms of interest, this committee have its own criteria. Okay, business buyer also have personal motivation, perception, and preferences that are influenced by the buyer's age, okay, income, the education, job position, okay, the personality, attitude toward risk, and culture. Okay, this person actually, okay, when they decide something, much more depend on how they perceive decision that will be made in that committee. Okay, based on their understanding, based on what they have learning, they have learned what their belief and also attitude toward the risk that that will be, I call it, bear by this decision. All right. So buyer definitely exhibit different buying style. All right. Individuals are motivated by their own needs and perceptions. In an attempt to maximize the reward, okay, personal needs motivate the buyers of the behavior of individuals. So organizational needs legitimate the buying decision process and its outcomes. Okay, mean it's legal because we call it as an authorized decision. Okay, people are not buying product. Okay, they are buying solutions to two problems. Okay, the organization, economic, and strategic problem, and their own personal need for individual achievement and reward. In this sense, industrial buying decisions are both rational and emotional. Okay, as they serve the organization and individuals' need. All right. Okay, targeting for and buying centers. Successful business to business or B2B marketing requires that business marketer know which type of company to focus on their selling effort. Okay, as well as who to concentrate. Okay, who are the people that will involve in the process. Okay, don't waste your time. If you become a marketer for business buyer, don't waste your time for the wrong people. Okay, people who don't involve in procurement process, please don't or avoid them. Okay, don't approach. All right. The targeting firm, business marketer may divide the marketplace in many different ways to decide on types of firm to which they will sell. Okay, finding those business sectors with the greatest growth prospect, most profitable customer, and most promising opportunity. Okay, that's why this type of market require marketer to do more research compared to the normal consumer market. Okay, more research for what? Because you need to know how the we call it as a performance of that organization. Okay, the ability to pay, the ability to decide directly what they want to buy. Okay, this is very important. We call it step should be taken by the marketer. If you are involved in, we call it as a business buying process. All right. To target their effort properly, business marketer have to figure out. You need to know who are the major decision participants, who involved, what decision do they influence, what is their level of influence, and what evaluation criteria do they use. Okay. All right. Small seller concentrate on reaching the key buying influencer. Large seller go for multi-level in-depth selling to reach as many participants as possible. Okay, business marketer must periodically review their assumption about buying center participant. Okay, we need to monitor closely. Okay, if you do not do this, you may we call it as a pass all the opportunity to other people. Okay, who have consent on this. Okay, all right. Okay, I think that's all for this part. We will continue to the next part 2 for this topic. Thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum. Bye.